As e dey hot, it don't happen o. Stopping Peter Obi from using your state stadium, you no go stop this man from winning this election. Rather, you dey boost him morale, and rather you see dey create awareness for this man. Now wetin happen for Edo State, e still happen for Kogi State. Dem come still delay Peter Obi from using the state stadium, and as they delay now, most people can't go as because they can't say they no go use the stadium again. Now they can't see they bring news come out and now say Peter Obi not shut down the stadium. Meanwhile, now they cause the delay we make many people go as and not do 10,000 people was still there to show love for Peter Obi. Make I not talk too much, my business family can share this video. This is a secret when this man leak for this video so because he talk why people not to show up for that Kogi State. Please share the video, let the world see what they are doing to Peter Obi. If you are really obedient, please share this video. And as they share, I'll see comment opinion for the comment section. When I watch
your review of what exactly happened, what figure would you put the attendance eventually?
Absolutely. The crowd in that stadium was close to 6, 7, 8,000. And the reason was this. When we got to Kogi State, we were told that we could not use the venue. And the venue was not approved until about 7 o'clock the night before. Now, a number of people who had come, were misled into believing that our rally would not hold in that venue. So quite frankly, apart from the people you have here, there were a number of people situated elsewhere thinking that we were holding the rally in other places. We got there at 8 o'clock trying to set up. We did not get an approval till 7 p.m. And despite that, and despite all the Twitter messages that went, what you see on screen is about 1/10 of the places people sat. So what you want to do is to times 10. And then we also had an overflow, which is not showing, which was on the pitch itself. So, like they say, statistics are like bikinis. They show some stuff, but what they don't show is also most important. But I can tell you that we had close to a 10,000 population. And those who bothered to view outside, because a number of people didn't come in. And then if you wanted to factor in other grounds that people thought we were going to be, some say it was deliberate, but I can assure you the governor assured us that he didn't know that we were being delayed. It was an issue between the officials at the Sports Council and of course overzealous people who thought because it was an APC state, the Labour Party should be frustrated. But in spite of that, we were present, we were vocal, and the states appreciated that they had a visitor.
Right. I mean, quite an interesting analogy you used.
And we were most welcome anyway.
Right. I know that there was this back and forth also with Edo State, which is a PDP state now, Kogi State, an APC state, and there were questions about when you applied for the use of venue and all of that. In this case, for Kogi State, is it a question of not filing for use of that place on time? When exactly did you file, just so that the details and the issues are laid bare?
No, we filed for this. It's a good thing you're bringing it up because apparently. Yeah, because it shows that you're even abreast of the delays we were given. We filed for the use about a week and a half, right? The issue was that we were required to come in. We did. We have letters to show that we had filed for the use of the venue. Now, on the morning of the venue, when we came in to pay for the venue, there was controversy. We were told that we should have passed the letter through the chairman of the Sports Council instead of the director of sports. For me, as an administrator myself, I can see that there were administrative lapses on the parts within Kogi State. Fortunately for us, by 6:30, we got across to the governor, who was totally unaware of this and gave a directive that we should pay. And it was at 7 o'clock that we paid. But between that time, between the morning when we got in and 7 o'clock when we paid, all sorts of Twitters had got around that Labour Party had been debarred from using the venue. So that in itself discouraged a whole lot of people from coming. It was only at 7 o'clock in the evening that we we sort of, sorry, I'm getting my timing wrong. Yes, 7 o'clock in the evening before, that we started sending notices around that people should discountenance, the information that we will not be having our rally there. But we did have, those issues. We overcame them. The governor was quite apologetic for the disruption.
Okay. Now that we've talked
issues like this in states,
right?
We've had issues like this in that apparently may not be too friendly.
Okay, so let's talk about Okay, let's talk about the content itself. I know all of these issues are very important to read, but to the content itself, your candidate reiterated his mantra, as usual, to move Nigeria from consumption to production. And I think that would have resonated well with the people of a state that is home to the Ajaokuta steel plant. Huge investment, huge production capacity, but for 4 decades it has remained largely moribund. So tell Nigerians, because successive governments have tried to do different things with it, tinker with it, what particularly will you do differently with Ajaokuta?
First of all, we'll increase the accountability and transparency around Ajaokuta. The primary thing is that there's so much opaqueness around Ajaokuta, and when you don't have the details, you don't have the facts, things like this happen. Some of the contractual issues around Ajaokuta need to be interrogated. One of the things that Nigerians need to understand, when our principle says that moving from consumption to production, our focus is on the factors of production. By increasing and enhancing the factors of production, you can ensure that a country becomes more productive. And what are the factors of production? The people. Our people are appropriately educated to be employers of laborers and creative within the economy. A place like Ajaokuta is like an entire city. What is the kind of education, what are the kind of engagement, what are the kind of training, including skills and technical knowledge that people have that will complement a place like Ajaokuta? That is one. Second thing is the offtake from Ajaokuta. What are the markets like?
Right.
There are issues that have come under Ajaokuta over the past 40 years. But the bottom line has to do with corruption, which our principal is determined to deal with. A lot of it has to do with transparency. A lot of it has to do with trust, public trust.
Well,
a lot of things have to do with the factors of production and the components of what makes a facility like Ajaokuta work. A lot of things have to do with the contracts.
Right, exactly. Let's come to that point.
Deal with
the contract, the transparency, and all of that. Because Ajaokuta, I think, will hit a very important, very deep point for a lot of Nigerians. I wonder if you are aware that there's currently a bidding process for Ajaokuta by, 11 firms for concession. The federal government plans to pay hundreds of millions of dollars just to settle the legal issues around that, instead of billions of dollars, which was meant to be paid. So if that is at that stage now, stage of bidding for concession, really, would your candidate then come, because I said he will speak to people who know what to do about it, will he then come and reverse that process and maybe will now start all over again, or he will go with the process that this current government is following through with?
Well, my principle will go with any process that is transparent.
Right.
As long as it is transparent. When you hear Peter Obi talking, he doesn't bellyache about things that people have done. Forward-looking candidates and a forward-looking party like Labour will focus on, if things have been done transparently, we'll take it off from there. So I hope this government is doing whatever they do transparently. But if it's not done transparently, and if there are hiccups, and if there are opportunities for others to complain and contest the process, then of course we will err on the side of the people. We'll err on the side of transparency. I will ensure that knowledgeable people. You see, the problem in Nigeria most times is that you get round pegs in square holes and vice versa. But the truth be told is that there are a lot of transactions going on. A lot of part of government is transactional, which is unfortunate. The objective should be service delivery, and there should be benchmarks in terms of what service providers who bid take charge or manage facilities, production facilities like Ajaokuta, like refineries. There are benchmarks.
Particularly because this is your forte.
Are made
Dr. Fagbemi Byron, if you can hear me, I know this is your forte and we can go on and on all night with these issues, but I'd like to raise this very important point with you because this is also a major point that has been going around. Yes. Your party reported that Mr. Peter Obi received an emphatic endorsement from the Ibadan Traditional Council. But incidentally, in fact, there was a video that was put out and retweeted largely, but the palace actually came out with a statement off the back of the video that has been circulated, and it said, well, none of that happened. In fact, I'm going to take a quote from the statement saying that in the offensive video being widely circulated by Obi's handlers, High Chief Oyelo Wale was seen praying for the success of the party and that it was not an endorsement. So the question then is, why term that prayer, which a lot of people listen to, as an endorsement? By the way, we're anchoring in a minute, so I hope you can do that in a minute.
Yes, the chief prayed for the success of our candidate, and his prayer was unambiguous. And what will the success of our candidate be, by the way, if not to win the election? The chief also prayed for a Nigeria that was consistent with what Peter Obi presented as his manifesto and his offer. And what he said was that what Peter Obi had been able to articulate in terms of a better Nigeria was in consonance with what the chiefs articulated. So I don't think, mischief makers can split hairs and say it's not an endorsement but a prayer but not an endorsement. If you pray for me and you don't endorse me, I will say amen.
No, the palace is actually the one putting out the statement saying that it is not an endorsement, and he said it for the umpteenth time. Let it be emphasized that Olubado and his cabinet do not and cannot endorse any political party or candidate. So are you taking this as an endorsement, even though the Olubado says it was just a prayer? I hope you know that this has a tendency of even causing disaffection because the traditional institutions are seen to most times be objective and they don't lean to any party whatsoever.
That is true. That is true. Traditional rulers will not endorse. They have never used the word endorse. It is political, the aftermath, the news that comes with the endorsement. They use the words endorsement. Traditional rulers are usually neutral. So yes, I do not say they use the word endorse. They did pray for him and they prayed for his success.
Well, we have to go now. I said we had 1 minute, but we've overshot that. Dr. Fagbemi Byron, I apologize. We have to anchor at this point. But just to note that it was a campaign DG that actually put out that video and said it's an emphatic endorsement.